Okay, guys, here we go with our last video of the week. All right, I know we did a little bit with limits. All right, this idea with limits is going to come back and join together with what we did with the difference quotient a couple weeks ago. All right, so even though we're doing limits, I want you to stay in touch with those skills needed with the difference quotient. Okay, remember the difference quotient was your f of x plus h minus f of x, all divided by h. Remember, the algebra concludes when you figure out how to reduce that h in the denominator. Okay. Given you your x plus h squared, given you your x plus h cubed, all right, you're going to use them both. Okay. 5 problems for you to try today. Let me try to get them up on the screen, give you a chance to copy them all down. Again, you're doing difference quotient, all right? Jot that down if you don't remember the formula. All right. All right, here's your first couple questions. We've got a polynomial function on number 1. All right, if you really need to, go back to lesson 6. Got a rational function for number 2. All right, if you need to, go back to lesson 7. All right, pause the video as needed so you can get these jotted down. I'm going to get the last 3 questions up for you here. All right, number 3, got another rational function, again, lesson 7. Right. Questions 4 and 5 are some square root functions. We did those different quotients back in lesson 8. All right. Remember, common denominators are going to help you with your rational functions. All right, conjugates are going to help you with your square root functions. All right. Let me invite you to pause that video for a few seconds. All right, you got 5 problems to work on. It's going to take you a few minutes. All right, come on back when you're ready. All right, we'll get some answers up there for you to check. All right, here we go with number 1, your x cubed, all right? So f of x plus h, plug it in the x plus h. Notice the parentheses, all right? I'm keeping the f of x plus h minus the f of x separate. All right? X plus h cubed, right? We got to expand that out to the 4 terms. The 5 distributes to the x and the h, so a 5x plus 5h. Notice the use of my parentheses again, keeping the f of x plus h and the f of x separate. Right. That subtraction is going to let me cancel my x cubed, my 5x, and my negative 7. Notice every term that's left, right, includes an h. Right, taking that out as a GCF. Okay. Canceling out those h's. Remember, difference quotient is going to conclude like that each and every time. All right, leaving us with 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared plus 5. All right. Number 2, we're looking at a rational function. All right, so my f of x plus h, I got a negative 3 over x plus h minus a negative 3 over x. Notice the 2 different denominators. We're going to create common factors to make our common denominator. First fraction needs to pick up an x top and bottom. Second fraction needs to pick up an x plus h top and bottom. All right, a little bit of a distribute with that negative 3. Okay. Once we've created our common denominators, we can subtract. So the minus 3x on top minus the negative 3x in the second fraction. Those negative 3x's cancel. We're left with subtracting a negative 3h, giving us a result of positive 3h over our common denominators. All of that still gets divided by h. I'm going to call that h over 1. Dividing by a fraction. Keep switch flip. right? H's cancel. Remember, difference quotient is going to conclude every time once that H gets canceled, leaving us a result of positive 3 over our x and x plus h common denominator. All right, let's try another rational function. All right, looking at 8 over x plus 2. Notice with f of x plus h, it's now 8 over x plus h plus 2 minus the original f of x. Right, to do that subtraction, right, common denominators. First fraction picks up an x plus 2. Second fraction picks up an x plus h plus 2. Right, you got to distribute that 8 on both fractions. Do the subtraction, 8x minus 8x cancels, 16 minus 16 cancels. You're left with subtracting an 8h. So a minus 8h over our common denominator, all still divided by h. Call it h over 1, little keep switch flip. Those h's will cancel. All right, you're left with negative 8 over that common denominator of x plus 2 and x plus h plus 2. Right, our last two questions, we're going to be using some conjugates. All right. For number 4, your f of x plus h, you got the square root of x plus h minus 6 minus the original f of x, right, all divided by h. Top and bottom by the conjugate of your numerator. So notice our conjugate's going to be adding those two square roots. Right, that would really be a FOIL across the top. Remember, FOIL is going to cancel the outside and inside terms. So you're just going to get the first one squared and the last one squared. Those squareds are going to cancel the square roots. X minus x will cancel. Negative 6 minus negative 6 will cancel. You're left with an h. You've got your h and your conjugate factor in the denominator. In this case, those h's will cancel, like they do with every difference quotient, leaving your conjugate factor in the denominator, nothing but a 1 left in your numerator. All right, number 5, not much different. Square root function, a little bit of a distribute as you're plugging in your x plus h. So 3x plus 3h plus 8 minus the original f of x. Notice again, using the conjugate, right? Adding those two square roots, right? When we FOIL on top, outside and inside cancel. You're left with the first one squared and the last one squared. Squares and square roots cancel. 3x minus 3x cancels. 8 minus 8 cancels. You're left with the 3h all over your h and your conjugate factor. H's cancel as they always do with difference quotients. We're left with a 3 divided by our conjugate factor. All right, you got problem set 4 this week, guys. All right, due on Friday. I ask, please, as you take those pictures, use some good light. Please make sure you include both pages when you submit your results. All right, I'm getting a lot of results where I get one page and I got to send out a note asking for another. All right, take your time, make sure your pages upload before you hit send. Have a great afternoon, folks. All right, we'll talk to you soon.